Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, world? This is Queen Aishah, and thank you for joining me for another episode of I Know Dope People. Today, we will be talking to my good sister friend, Nichole Norman-Cobbs. She will discuss her lupus journey to holistic healing. Before we get started and bring our guest on, I have a few Queens quickies. Let's get to it. So let's give a shout out, congratulations, and awesome kudos to our first Maryland Black governor, Wes Moore. And I guess his wife goes by First Lady. First Lady Dawn Moore. She's like a superhero. Yes. And they have 2 children. Yes, yes, yes. And let me explain something. Maryland, the country, Black folks, brown folks, we are excited. But Baltimore, Maryland turned up. I was kind of in my feelings. I was like, had I been home, I'd have been in them Baltimore streets. They got it in because my boyfriend, Maxwell, performed. Drew Hill, it's only right that they performed. DJ D Nice, DJ Tynes, if y'all know DJ Tynes from Baltimore, he turns up. DJ Quicksilver, he's on the reality show Love and Marriage. Those my people, they were there, they performed. It was a whole bunch of other performers. Now, I know it was a gospel singer there because he's Black. I don't know what the gospel singer, who it was, but we're going to find out because you know we had to have a, ooh, Lord have mercy. Thank you, God. We had to have that for the swearing in of the first Black governor in Maryland. We had to do that. And Oprah Winfrey was in the house. If you don't know, Oprah Winfrey got her start in Baltimore, Maryland. Okay, so congratulations. All the best to our governor, Wes Moore. I understand that he is from Tacoma Park, Maryland, lived out there. And he lived in Baltimore. He now lives in the governor's mansion. I'm not sure if it's in Annapolis, Maryland. We're going to find that out soon. But congratulations to Wes Moore and his whole team for making it happen and everybody that went out to vote. Whoop, whoop. Okay. So I just want to touch, I was having a conversation a few days ago with our wonderful president, Joe Biden. And, you know, they're talking about if he should run again, if he's going to announce he's going to run again. And I'm just going to say, Uncle Joe, no. No, it's time. No. We appreciate you. Thank you. But go on, chill out. No, run the other way. We don't want you to run no more. Let somebody else run. And since we're talking about the Bidens, I just want to talk about Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden has a daughter that is 4 years old. Her name is Navy. And Biden wants to, Hunter Biden, wants to pay less child support. I'm not really sure what he's paying in child support now, but he wants to pay less. And not only does he want to pay less, he does not want the child to have his last name. Who is you, Hunter, to decide that? So what I understand now, the child does not have the last name. Not sure why. He denied the child. He denied even knowing his baby mama. That sounds ignorant as hell. He denied even knowing his baby mama until in 2020. During the pandemic where everything went down. He took that DNA test and it said, you is Hunter Biden, the baby daddy. So he is the baby father and he just want less money. And see, I first heard this story on Franksky, on WHUR, Franksky's show on WHUR 96.3 in Washington, D.C. And they were talking about it and Nikki, I think it's Nina Brown, who's his co-host, she was talking about the story. She was like, I would be like Mama Biden to get the privileges. Yes, the child should have the last name. She should have all the privileges and perks of being a Biden. Yes, and the mama should too. Whatever work, whatever school, whatever. Yes, she should be able to get that. So go ahead and make that happen. I vote yes, yes. Navy Biden, that sounds good. And B, in these streets, yes, Navy, get your last name. I wonder if she hangs out with the family. I wonder if President Grandpa Biden and Grandma First Lady Jill, if they has Navy been to the White House? We need to investigate this some more. So I just want to share that information with you. Shout out to Hartsville, South Carolina. I was there last Saturday. We had a great time performing me, Nick Lewis, and O.D. Odell. Then I went to Florence, South Carolina, which is about a 30-minute drive away to surprise my boy, D.S. Sanders from Charlotte. Actually, he's from the little bushes over there, but he lives in Charlotte. And we hung out and talked trash. It was so great to see comedians that I knew and comedians I that just met that day. just because of the pandemic and all that, we hadn't really been able to see one another, vibe, and all that. I met this one comedian from Langston or Lancaster, South Carolina. He was talking trash and he told me my name was TT. I said, TT. He said, yeah, thick thighs. I said, I'll take it. Thick thighs. That is me. That is me. Thank you all so much for checking out Queen's Quickies. Now, we're going to bring on our guest for today. So Nichole is the best friend of my sister Razia. They've been best friends probably almost 20 years. I would call them more than friends. They are sister friends. And we hang out, we party. Zola, her daughter, is my niece. That's my baby. And she will come and say, Queen Aishah, that's my auntie. That's my auntie. So when I found out that Nichole was diagnosed with lupus, I was like, huh? I was like, Nichole? I was like, because, we see our friends and, you know your people. And, Nichole is a very laid back, no fuss, no complaint. But if she got to go there, she will type of person. Let me go and look at her face while I said that. Let me go and see her face. She backstage. She's a laid back, real cool person, pretty, wise with her eating and sensible and all that. So I was kind of like, didn't know much about lupus. The first time I heard about lupus was in 96, I believe. A co-worker friend of mine, Tony Lewis. We were working at an insurance company. And she told me that she had lupus. I'd never heard of it before. She talked about the pain and things and discomfort that she went through. So when I heard about Nichole having, I was like, oh, wow. So let me share with you Nichole's story. She said, after a few years of dealing with random bouts of unexplained pain throughout her body, she was diagnosed in 2021 with lupus and told that she would be taking daily medication for the rest of her life to manage the pain. The diagnosis started her on a wellness journey, starting with seeking out healing using holistic treatments. She is still on her personal wellness journey to include holistic self-care while focusing on what she eats and the effects food has on her body as her primary treatment. So I'm going to bring Nichole Norman-Cobbs to share with us her journey, her diagnosis, and where she is now, and any tips, tricks that she can offer. Hey, Nichole with an H.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, thank you for being here. Yes, I appreciate you being on.
Oh, gosh, thanks for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm considered one of your dope people. I love that.
Come on now, whatever. We beat these streets up. Yes. So, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
Wonderful,
how are you?
Wonderful. I'm good. But how you doing as far as with your health and all
my
of that?
health? Well, health, I believe, is just a journey.
Yes.
Let's be honest. This is an ongoing journey. But as of December, I am lupus free.
Whoop whoop.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, like I said, it's a journey, so it's a continuous thing, honestly.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. That is great news, and I know how that feels when you work so hard to first. I'm sure you was probably like, "What the?"
Yeah.
When you were diagnosed, like, what were your first thoughts and feelings?
I was numb. I went to the doctor because it was during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So I did my primary care physician had moved to California, so I had nobody at that time. What happened was, as you said in my little bio, was I was having just random pain first in my hands, and then it kind of traveled to my wrists, and then eventually would be my whole arm, and then by the end of 2020. I was laid up with just full body pain. This is not, I don't know what this is. We got to figure this out. Beginning of 2021, I found a doctor, not because I had moved to Maryland. So I found a doctor not too far from my house. And, I had already kind of, you already know the story about going to the doctor and they really don't know what you're saying. So I went in there like, no, we got to fix this.
Right.
I told her, I don't know what's going on. I just get pain all through my body, sometimes just in my hand. And she says, well, you're getting older. It's probably just arthritis. And I was like, I've never had arthritis.
And I ain't that old, no offense.
Arthritis, right?
No offense.
That's not arthritis. This
Mm-hmm.
is different. Just something in me said
Mm-hmm.
this is different. So she sent me to get some blood work, called me about a week later and said, does anybody in your family have lupus? And I'm like, not to my knowledge, no. Well, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
refer you to this rheumatologist. And every now and then I think about him and I'm like, I don't know if was a blessing or what.
Mm-hmm.
I went to that man's office and he walked in and said, oh, you have baby lupus. I was like, okay.
Starter kick lupus. What
So
the?
I was like, I was shocked. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I have to take this in, but he just kept talking.
Mm-hmm.
He went on to say that I'm going to put you on this medication. It's going to be a daily medication. It's going to make you sick at first. He said, but then your body will get used to it. And then as your body gets used to it, we're going to increase the dosage. And then eventually your body will get used to that. And then we'll put you on a stronger medication. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
No, thank you.
you're going to put me on a medication that's going to make me sick. So he called in the prescription. I went home and said, let me do a little bit of research because I don't think I'm interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
And in my little bit of Google searches, I found, okay, people are talking about, I've been sick. I'm sicker now than I was before I started taking this medication.
Oh, wow.
How long does this last? And people would respond back, oh, it took me a few months, but eventually your body get used to it, blah, 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 blah. And
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't interested.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't for me. It was kind of like, it sounds like it's going to be worse than what it was. Nobody wants to be sick every single day.
Right.
So I'm a reader. So I ordered a bunch of books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's figure this out. Spoke to my husband about it. He's like, what we going to do? And I'm like, let me do some research and then I'll see what is the what.
What is the what? That's the new
Yes.
word. What is the what?
What? So in my little bit of research, I went to the Lupus Foundation of America first.
Mm-hmm. That's in the chat.
Yes. Lupus Foundation of America was a great starting resource.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue was that everything ended with stay on your medication. Appreciated it because they had real life stories. They had I forgot that what's his name? Nick Cannon had lupus and Tony Braxton. So they had a bunch of celebrities and they had a bunch of real people just talking about their own personal journey.
Mm-hmm.
It all ended with make sure you have a good doctor and take your medication. So like I said, ordered a bunch of books. The books that I ordered were basically how to manage your lupus naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even give you all the books that I went through, to be honest. A bunch of Google searches led me to just, learning more about it. I had to learn about it first.
Mm-hmm.
To realize that my form, because there are so many forms of lupus, my form was SLE.
Okay, and what is SLE?
I forget. I'm sorry.
Because you ain't want to own it. That's for real.
I wasn't.
Like, I don't know how to spell cholesterol.
I didn't tell anybody I told my immediate family, and then I didn't tell anybody for months because I was still trying to figure things out. And it's funny you said that because Razia came to me and said, "Can I tell so and so that you have lupus?" And I responded back, "I was diagnosed with lupus, but I don't have it."
I know that's right.
I'm not claiming this, so go ahead and tell her whatever you want. Because she knows me. I did a bunch of research. I was gonna figure out how to make it work for me. And this was not supposed to be this long and detailed of a story.
You're fine. You're fine.
So in the end, I stumbled across a book called Goodbye Lupus. And in that book, that particular doctor, she lays out everything that happened. She was diagnosed with lupus as a teenager. Happened to go on a diet plan to get ready for her marriage. And the plan included green smoothie, which was basically kale or spinach, and chia or flax seeds. And she said that she had gone for a regular doctor's visit and her numbers just kept dropping. Every time she went to the doctor, the numbers, the ANA numbers kept dropping until she was eventually lupus free.
Wow.
And she shares this with everybody. She does IG lives. You don't even have to get the book. You can pretty much get everything from IG lives or one of the support groups. Because I joined a bunch of support groups. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
The Lupus Foundation of America suggests that you join support groups.
Okay.
The first support groups that I joined were basically, I've been laid up for 3 months. I've been in pain I had migraines, I have rash, I can't be in the sun. So it was a good thing that I joined those groups because it was like, oh, I don't have anything like what these people have. What I had, what I thought was bad. God bless those people, because my goodness, this is what you're going through right now. In the end, I had to leave those groups. Because misery loves company.
Depressed. I figured it would be depressing.
Yeah, it was too depressing. I'm thankful that I joined just so I could see what the people like. I didn't even realize autoimmunity was such a big thing in these United States. Honestly, it was like, wait, so how many people are going through this?
And I really believe that it ties into our food and our environment, because even when I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, I was like, I'm the same. I was like, I ain't owning this. You know what I'm saying? And it all Graves' disease, lupus, it's all autoimmune.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really believe it has to do with our diet and our environment, and definitely stress.
Yes. Yeah. The first few things that I saw were you need to get your rest. You need to try to be stress-free. And you need to look at what you're eating. The more you get into it, it is just your environment as a whole, what we're breathing in, what we're putting on our skin, but definitely what we're eating. And if you get down to it, as many things as I did to the outside of my body, as much meditation, as much as I, turn my phone off. That was just before Razia got married. So I was like, the phone was going off. I turned my ringer off for a good 3 months. And I would literally just pick it up like once or twice a day to be like, okay, so what text conversations are going on, or who call back. You have to turn those alerts off from Facebook, from IG, from
you all. You gotta monitor your peace.
Right. Like, you don't need to know what's going on in the outside. You have to stop watching the news, just all things. But yeah, if we get down to it, it's like you said, it's your diet.
It's the diet. So what did you change in your diet? Because I don't know you to be like a junk food person. You order your rum cakes, you're gonna have that rum cake. You like your sip. But I mean, you're not, as far as what did you change in your diet, or what did you have in your diet that you took out of your diet once you were diagnosed and said, hey, I need to work on what I'm eating and putting in my body?
So I basically increased my intake of the greens, of the spinach and the kale. Now, I'm a salad eater. I'm a fruit eater. I love those things. But I can also, just to cut time, pull out a frozen whatever. And as much as you think stuff is healthy, you have to start reading the back of packages. All of the things that make our food taste good are not necessarily good for us.
Right.
So you pretty much I had to go to more of a whole food diet.
Okay. And for those that don't know a whole food diet, what does a whole food diet consist of?
Well, for me, it was increasing my like I said, plants and not plants. Not plants.
I got you. Your salad, your greens.
my greens, my fruit intake. Yeah, we in this household cut back on a lot of things. And just in my research, you find out that gluten affects autoimmune. And one of the doctors that I was following was like, if you have an autoimmune issue, cut out gluten. Cut out meat as much as possible. But I wasn't that big of a meat. I would do ground turkey if I made spaghetti or something, or I would do chicken if my husband grilled, but it wasn't like a big thing.
Right. Like you had to have it.
Yeah, it wasn't like I had to have it, but if I'm cooking for the household, then I'm probably going to eat it. Now it's okay, you guys can have that. However, I have to go over here and I'm gonna have this.
Right. It's about that discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. It is about the discipline. Now, I will tell you what put me over the top. Now, within this journey, as much as I was managing myself, I had to find a doctor that I felt like supported what I wanted to do.
Yes.
And I don't know why I didn't think about this first, but eventually it was like, oh, Dr. Tyus. She's going to be more on, she's going to be on more of a holistic path before a medicinal path, you know?
Right.
And went to go see her. And I give thanks for her because things you don't even think about. She looked at my numbers and like you had someone on previously who says she strives for her patients to have optimal health. That's Dr. Tyus as well.
Yes, Dr. Lisa.
She looked at my numbers and said, I want you to cut out chicken and grains. Chicken, okay, no problem. I get that. But grains, you want me to cut out grains? Because that was my staple. You know, I could just stir fry with a bunch of vegetables and put it on my brown rice or my quinoa or like for some reason, the grains are just causing inflammation. So as much as I managed to get my numbers down, they weren't completely down. You know, I would still have an occasional, I feel something coming, you know, so let me just go sit down and cut and get through this real quick. And so it was not as often and not as bad, but it still wasn't gone.
Right. Okay.
She was like, cut these two things out. Let's check this out in 3 months. So every 3 months, I would go back and get more blood tests until finally, like I said, this December blood test, she was like, it's gone. You know, it's not showing up in your blood work at all. So I think it was the chicken, which I didn't eat too much of, and those grains. I was like, oh, who would have thought that grains? Now, of course, I'm seeing all over the place.
Right.
That grains is an issue for a lot of people, but that never entered my mind. Why would I think a staple would affect me?
Right. Wow. But very good. Very good. Because I went to Dr. Tyus when I was first diagnosed, and she looked at the numbers and she basically put me on a whole food, high greens, all that diet. Yeah.
That was the last little key to my little puzzle, was take the grains out.
Yeah, and Dr. Tyus is in the Washington, D.C. area. So you all can research her if you're interested in getting more information on holistic treatments and well-being.
Yes, as a medical, and that was a blessing because I did call a naturopath in D.C. to see if I could seek treatment, and they didn't take insurance. And when they start breaking down all the costs of everything, I was like, let me see what I can do on my own.
Right.
I'll call you back.
Be like, hold on for a minute, hold up, because y'all flare my lupus up with this.
Y'all stressing me out.
Right, and this is what I don't need. So what doing in your research, Nichole, what did you what information did you come across as far as lupus in African Americans or African American women? Are the numbers higher in our communities? Did you find that?
Higher in Asian American and African American.
So Asian, maybe because of the rice.
Oh, yeah, good one.
I just thought about that. Yeah. And maybe the rice. Wow. And as my mother pointed out, you were diagnosed kind of old. And not kind of old. She disrespected.
It's usually a young woman's issue, which is kind of true. Similar to you, I knew one person, met her in my 20s, knew she had it, but I never discussed anything about it. And saw her a few months ago, and we were talking about our different ways of handling it. I'm super new, so I was like, oh, you should try this or you should do this. It was like, oh my gosh, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. But in talking to her, it was the same. One of my turnoffs was, I'm going to be on this medication and I could still have these flares.
Right.
That don't make sense.
Right.
Let's get to the core of what's going on.
Right. Not the Band-Aid.
Right.
Not the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Yes, because I have some things I'm talking about, some of the signs. You can go through hair loss, rash, chest pains. It says people with lupus have kidney disease. It has been it shows up, I guess, in the urine and the blood test. It says after being in, it says going through ration for sickness after being in the sun, depression, memory problems, joint pain and swelling, fatigue, fever, and feeling like you have the flu.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, and sometimes we'll just think, especially in this time of, I guess you want to call it COVID time, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
people are still getting sick and colds and stuff. So a lot of stuff can still be missed as it was during the peak of the pandemic, because we'll just think, oh, what's this, that? And then when it goes away after we take whatever we take, NyQuil, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and just go on until it happens again. Because it doesn't have to, I'm assuming the flare-ups don't have to be consistent all the time. They can come and go.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
True. Right. And that's why I said, oh, this is mild compared to what other people are going through.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that they said this could get worse. Come on now. You know I love the sun. So you trying to make me not be
right. Be like, we're not doing that.
Right.
Right. And then I have Tony, who I mentioned as the first person that I learned, and she posted this in the chat. She said it's great to use so casually. Get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's when you go to the doctor, they tell you get used to it. And she put up the meaning of systematic lupus. I don't know what that word is. The E, that got all the alphabets in it. That one right there. So it's actually the most common of lupus. So wow, very, very interesting information. So with your diagnosis in December of lupus no longer being in your system, did Dr. Tyus say things that you have to do, or basically you just keep doing what you're doing?
Continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a part of that conversation was it may have affected some other things. So we're going to keep working on optimal health, but it's doable, you know?
Okay.
The first thing we worked on, we've done that. Keep doing what you're doing. So now we're going to work on this. So like I said, it's a journey.
Yes, ma'am. So are you taking any type of holistic supplements that you take daily outside of changing your food?
So no.
Okay.
Well, let me take that back. Yes. I will do like garlic cloves. And whenever I would feel a flare coming, I knew I could do like thyme. I would use a lot of thyme tea. What is it? You find you switch up a lot of you get used to and appreciate some things that previously you'd be like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Because to drink thyme, you strong.
Yeah, right. Thyme. I never liked coconut water. I find myself drinking the coconut water.
Okay. Yeah, because we have a chat. So everyone, we have a group chat, and we share recipes. And like recently, you and Razia were talking about, like, you were like, I don't like this type of coconut water, but I like this type. So Razia was on the phone yesterday in the supermarket, like, I'm trying to figure out, do I want the coconut water in the refrigerator, or do I want the coconut water on the shelf? So you have to use what works, what's healthier for you, and then find the one that's best. But to drink thyme tea,
fresh thyme. Yeah, it's and now it's like it's no issue to drink it. You know, the garlic. Way back in the day, somebody told me how good garlic was to take just daily for, general health.
Everything, right?
Keeps everything in check.
Yes.
I found myself doing that nightly. You know, so you learn what works for you in your body. You, we talk about ginger. We do the ginger, turmeric. We just all fresh. Like I said, all foods. So, and what helps too is that we have that group chat.
Yes.
We bounce stuff off of each other. We share the recipes. We can say, okay, y'all try this. This really worked out. We can be like, I tried.
Like, I don't like that. Like, like, nah, that's not for me. You keep that. Look, it worked for you. God bless you. Very good. So with your, as far as physical, being physical, did the lupus limit you on any physical activity or anything?
You know what? It's funny because I didn't know what was going on with me. Like, during the height of the pandemic, I would get up and do a 3-mile walk every morning. And my knees would be killing me. And I'm like, is this age? What is going on here? It took the diagnosis to realize it was affecting my knees. Like, why are my knees on fire? This is crazy. I happened to see a video where one lady was saying they suggest that you just do your walk.
Push through.
Don't push yourself too much. And he was like, no, I like to lift weights. I like to ride my bike. I like to do this. I'm not going to stop. In her testimony, she was like, I take my medication, but I just work through the pain.
Okay.
So she was kind of a source of inspiration too, because I was like, well, I don't want to stop doing what I do. Like if I decide to lift weights, I love doing yoga. I didn't want to stop my walks. So it was like, now that I know what it is, that's good. But I also, one of the early things that I would do is use my heating pad. It was like, okay, if my knees hurt, I'm gonna sit down with the heating pad.
Okay.
And just work through this. So I never wanted to stop.
Okay.
Doing my physical stuff.
Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, so we have a question in the chat. Michelle Roberts.
Yes, Each Clove, one of my books that I ended up ordering after Goodbye Lupus was the Medical Medium book. I really like that book because it goes through the benefits of everything that you eat. That was when people ask me, that's my attraction to it. I like the breakdown of what it's doing for your body. And so, you just take a garlic clove, you mince it, swallow it down.
Okay.
Real quick. Otherwise, I might put it on my salad because I happen to really like garlic. So that's
I like garlic.
Easy for me.
Yes, I like
Everybody around me might not like it, but
Tony said the garlic burger. Yes, honey. You pass people that eat a lot of garlic, you be like, I appreciate you, but I don't.
Right.
Because that smell is high. It's you can appreciate the smell with some basil and some other things, but it just by itself, you be like, nah, I'm good. So what information would you offer to someone that is not sure what's going on, or if they were just diagnosed with lupus? What would you say would be their the first things you would suggest to them to do?
For the not sure people, I would say be persistent with your healthcare provider.
Okay.
Because for some reason I wasn't surprised. The doctor's first answer was it's probably arthritis, and I was like, that's not what it is, So we both have sisters in the medical field, so it's kind of like she's like, they don't really take Black women that serious when it comes to pain, so you need to
be on it.
Right. So I was prepared. I was like, nope, that's not what it is. Just be persistent.
Right.
Just make sure that they're getting the test done so you could at least rule it out. For somebody who's new to it, do your research. First figure out which kind that you have, because what I found out was that there are so many different kinds, and then it displays in many different ways. For me, as much as they said you need to use a heating pad and just relax, blah, 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 girl, the heating pad for me was making it worse. I switched to ice packs.
I was going to say, when you said your knee, because because some doctors will say switch it up with the ice and the heat and the cold. So when you said your knees, I was like, okay, you put heat on it because sometimes it can flare up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was mine. But that's what everybody said. Have your heating pad ready. Go ahead. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try. No, eventually I was like, let me try these ice packs. And ironically, you sent a video of a doctor talking about how inflammation is making people sick, and you need to take cold showers or do that. I had already started doing the ice thing. Like if I had pain in my hands, I would soak them in ice water.
You strong.
No, I did a cold shower one time. I'm not that strong.
No, I'll tell you something. When I go to the spa, they have a cold bath.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten better because I was standing there just before a minute. And then now I'll go in, I'll run through and just run out just because I've done all the heat and the moisture and all of that. And I'll just do it really quickly because I guess the balance of the heat and the cold is beneficial.
Yeah. So for me, and you're right, because one of the things I would do as a regular practice, if I felt something coming on, I would take an Epsom salt bath, soak everything. But you're right, follow it up with the ice pack if you're having something going on. But now that's in my regular practice. You know, at least once a week, I'm gonna soak in a hot tub with some Epsom salt just to get the toxins out.
Yeah, cause I do the Epsom salt. I do the apple cider vinegar, sea salt. We getting it popping. I took one this morning. We getting it popping up in here. Stuff you don't even know. You're like, we're gonna go ahead and remove and ship something.
Right.
In my
I see the cryotherapy. That's a good idea. Never even thought about that.
Yep. And so you mentioned that again, lupus, these autoimmune diseases mimic so many things. That's one thing with Graves' disease they talk about. It mimics so many things. So we have to be advocates for ourselves, and we have to do a little more research, like you did. I'm not just accepting this. You know, like Tony said, the heating pad doesn't work for her either. So for some people it may work, others it don't. Like when you said, I was like the heating pad, because I remember where I had an injury and I was putting. A friend said, "Oh, put some heat on it." I put heat, and then when I tell you, it absolutely made it worse. And I said, no. I think because we're used to ice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I was like, heat, and I did, and it was tearing me up. The minute I switched to the ice, it worked. So I guess it depends. It's an individual thing, but I really think the ice is better.
Look, between maintaining, just keeping everything is an individual thing. What's going to work for you? Even when it comes to the food, what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you? You know, so for as many people that said, "Oh, my heating pad," I was looking at YouTube videos of people sharing their journey and stuff. I have a good rheumatologist and I have that heating pad next to me. I'm like, okay, heating pad. You know, let's get down with the heating pad. And I was just like, oh, that
don't work for me. Right. That does not work for me. So I have another question about food, and this just came to me. So is dairy something that you had to stay away from?
Yes.
Okay.
Ironically, my daughter has asthma.
Okay.
And it's one of those things, whenever she gets sick, I was like, nope, you can't have ice cream. You can't have this, you can't have that. Because it's like, it's funny because you know some things, but you don't really incorporate them into your daily life. And when literally I'm like, you can't have that because it's the buildup of mucus and this and that. And and I love my cheese. I love my ice cream. You got to figure out, you got to get the substitutes after that. Like find one that you like.
But, and then pay attention because some of them substitutes is set up too.
Yes. But yeah, as far as what I cut out, dairy. I found out eggs. Gluten, I found out way down the line after I had cut out a whole lot of other things. Dairy, eggs, gluten. Those were the main things.
Okay.
And like I said, grains came in last.
And stress.
But
see, I don't see Nichole, you so cool and chill. Like, I'm like stressed. I'm like, I don't even see when Nichole gets stressed.
Girl, life.
But you're like, but I know that you don't have no whole bunch of nonsense in your environment. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No,
so life, so I think that's a big thing with us, everyone just managing just life stress, work stress, traffic stress, those things. So I got it. So I was like, Nichole. Yes. Okay. So let me see if we have any other questions. So Tony said that the CBD salt works too. I ain't never heard of that, Tony. But they put that shit on everything. CBD and everything.
Is she talking about the one? If she can answer, is she talking about the one that Dr. Bronner's does? Because I think I've had that.
I love Dr. Bronner's.
Yeah, I think they have a CBD one.
Okay, and she let her answer that one, but she just asked if this is one right here. That's a good question.
I do. Yeah, that's not one that affected me at all.
So for me, for Graves, that's one thing they would say, the nightshades, the tomatoes, the I think eggplant.
Yeah.
Nightshades are anything that grows under the dirt.
Yes, one of my early books was saying cut out those things, and I tried it for a while. But then, like I said, as I'm doing research, I'm seeing that some of the anti-inflammatory recipes included tomatoes or peppers or whatnot. So it's like, well, let me go ahead. So didn't affect me at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So she said that it's a bath salt, and I guess it's by Lord Jones.
Okay, Lord Jones. Okay. I have to look into that one.
Yes, honey, because they put CBD is in everything now. I think CBD, the next group of babies gonna be born with CBD brain because CBD is everything. So Nichole, we want to thank you so much for joining us today on I Know Dope People and sharing your experience. Do you have any closing thoughts and words? Will you be doing any workshops and consultation?
I am not a licensed professional.
And that's for real. This is what worked for her.
Right.
Okay.
No, ironically, I've had a couple people say, you should write this down. You should share.
Yes. I was thinking last night, Nichole needs to do a book.
But yeah, I would have to preempt everything. This is what worked for me.
Absolutely.
So do I have any closing words? No, just be your own advocate.
Yes.
I know what happens a lot of times, and I still, like I said, belong to some of the Facebook pages. And people, if a doctor says you should do it, it's like, but my doctor said I should where you have everybody going like, no, you pay them. You can ask questions. You can go find another doctor. You can.
People don't understand that. Right. They work for you. No disrespect to doctors, but I'm like, you can choose who you want to go to.
Yeah. Yep.
You don't have to accept it.
Yeah. Do your research. Figure out if that's going to be the person that supports you and your journey.
Right.
A lot of people are okay with just saying, okay, this is what it is, and this is what I'm going to do. But there are a whole lot of people who are like, nah, we got to look at what's going on around us, and we can make the change within us. So
yeah, and it's yes, and it's we have so many resources now with technology, social media, and everything that we Google, YouTube University. We can get so much information right here, and then we don't even have to leave the house, and then go and see. Like I love Sprouts. So with Sprouts, when I was because I wasn't taking. I don't think I took their medicine for Graves' disease. I don't think I took it for 6 weeks. Okay. And I went to Sprouts, and one of our cousins, because we so colorful, she was like, it's this white woman that come in here every month. She take this and she weans herself off the medicine they were giving her. So I was a renegade. I think I bought it on a Thursday and started taking it on a Saturday and never looked back. Right. So you have to find out what works for you. We have to listen to our bodies. Yes. Because like you were talking about the different pains and things you were having and how you would just go and sit down. Or my knees are bothering me. This ain't never happened before. You going to the doctor because somebody would think, oh, my hands hurt and that ain't nothing. Maybe I've been cutting too much. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I've been lifting weights. You ain't even exercise. Just those things and brush it off. But you paid attention and then enough because sometimes we'll have a pain and it'll go. Yeah. And it'll come back. But then you was like, wait a minute, this it wasn't normal for you. And that's what we mean when advocating for yourself. And just because the doctor said it, again, no disrespect to physicians. Just because they said it don't mean it's true. Right. So you have to dig a little deeper. And then you have some physicians, they just not, if they don't have the knowledge or a lot of experience in that area, they're kind of brush it off as this is their thing and that's what it should be. No, go a little deeper. Right. Dig a little deeper. Right. Yeah. And even the way that the rheumatologist broke it down to me, I had to eventually say, this is his all day, every day. He's probably just used to coming in, giving a diagnosis and making that same speech. I was just another person. He wasn't looking at me as an individual. Baby lupus. Now that right there. I was like, it feel like baby lupus, but okay. Baby start, and it's kind of really like an insult, starter kid lupus. When I said, oh, something going on, I'm vomiting from eggs and this and this and that. I asked for an allergy test, and that's just what she gave me. That's it. She didn't go any further. And she said, oh, you're allergic to shrimp and German cockroaches. What? I'm telling you, like for real. So that was in 2017. To fast forward to 2019 is when I went to the doctor, and I was and just the regular doctor, and I can't think of the doctor's name from DC. She was at Kaiser. She knew me and part of Amaziah's, and they were actually working together with me. And she just looked at my neck. She just looked at my neck.
Wow.
And she was like, Aishah, your neck is swollen. Is that normal? You ever been checked for Graves' disease? And I was like, who that? So we really have to advocate for ourselves and really be with doctors, physicians that are going to advocate for the whole person as the patient. And it's okay to break ties with people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, you ain't mad, they ain't mad. This don't work, because guess what? The doctor will fire you. My mother has gotten fired from the doctor.
Really?
In non-compliance. So they will fire you. Joe didn't be doing too much, So and she walked out real classy, and it's okay. I didn't have to.
I'll find somebody else. Thank you.
Right after they fired her.
Right.
But yeah, so let's really take care of ourselves. And let me tell you something. Taking care of yourself, like you said, is it's a lot of work. Health is a lot of work. Every day is something different, but we really have to advocate for ourselves, take care of ourselves, have some discipline. There's certain things that I like that I don't even put in my house. Like I like cheese. I don't put it in my house.
Right.
I like bread. I don't put it in my house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I even took the pancake mix out.
Oh no.
Because I'll be like, what happened? And especially when it get cold, I'll be like, this is love.
Right.
But
yes. you find your substitutes for everything.
Right. Yeah, like the post, you or Paz put in the substitute for eggs.
Yeah.
Like that's great. Like those things, because a lot of times things with food, it's about taste, texture, aroma, because we're so used to those things.
Right.
Like I don't eat chicken. I'm pretty much a pescatarian. I actually put myself back on fish because when I was trying to be a straight vegan, it wasn't working for my life. I was having brain fart. It was a lot going on. I said, well, I might be killing myself, so let me go ahead and start eating this. So I don't stress myself. If I want some chicken, I'm gonna have chicken. Right. I'm not having a chicken meal, but also I watch who I get the chicken from, who prepared the chicken, how they, all of those things. Like it's just I don't do it. So I think that those types of things, we can still change our life, you would say, and still have a whole life, still enjoy it.
Yes, I would say honestly, the way that I've set it up is that if I'm cooking at home for a month and I'm not going anyplace, when I go out to the restaurant, I'm not going to ask what type of oil they used. I might say I'm not doing dairy and I'm not doing blah, 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 or grains. And they'll usually suggest what I can have, or they'll make a substitute for me.
Right.
As much as that restaurants don't want to substitute anything, if you tell them straight up, these are the things I'm not doing. Right. They'll usually offer what they have that you can do, So I cannot stress enough that it's as much as it's a lifestyle change, it doesn't have to be a restriction. Right. For everything, have your chicken, but you're not going to have it in the house like that. You're probably going to have it when you're out and about every now and then.
And who you get it from, because how they clean their chicken is important.
Yeah.
And then go to restaurants that are friendly to what you are trying to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Certain places you just don't eat because you know that they're not going to do the substitute, or you don't want it to smell like grease anyway.
Right.
Anyway, and matter of fact, if you smell the grease, how about you make a U-turn?
You're talking about a very popular
walking the place, you be like,
don't eat that.
People like, that grease smell dirty. You should leave. If you smell the grease, you should leave. You should leave. Well, thank you so much for another dope episode of I Know Dope People. Miss Nichole Norman-Cobbs.
Thank you for having me.
Inside joke. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your yes and sharing your story and journey. And we wish you the abundance of health.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. My name again is Queen Aishah, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of I Know Dope People. If you want to check this episode out and share with someone, it's very valuable information. You can go to my YouTube channel, Queen Aishah, QueenAishah. Put the last H on for happy, hilarious, humorous, Hottie. Just put the last H on because Donald and Jerry put an H on the end of my name. Also, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Peace and power. Give it up for my girl, Katanya Lester, the producer of the show, for holding me down. And also, when you go to my YouTube channel, you can check previous episodes. Also, you can stand up. We didn't get to show any stand up today, but just stand up. See you next week. Peace and power as well.